good afternoon and welcome to NTV News. I am Siksha Sharma. Let's take a look into the headlines first. Coalition partners agree on allocation of ministerial portfolios. Cabinet expansion likely by today. Nepal and China agree on resuming bilateral trade from Raswagari-Kerung border. China positive on resuming direct flight from Kathmandu to Lhasa. At least 12 people killed in a ferry carrying 250 passengers en route to Philippine Islands. 7 other reported missing. And Biratnagar City FC and India's Luka Soccer Club in a tighter clash for Virat World Cup tonight. Welcome back to NTV News. Taking a look into news in detail now. Top leaders of the ruling coalition are meeting again today for the allocation of ministries, even though an agreement was reached among the coalition partners on number of ministries to be allotted to the party's allocation of ministerial portfolios is yet to be agreed upon. A meeting of the parties held at the Prime Minister's residence in Balbatar late yesterday evening decided over the number of ministries to be allotted to each party. According to Janta Samajwadi leader Rajendra Shrestha, the cabinet expansion is expected by today. After the allocation of ministries is finalized, the biggest party in the parliament, Nepali Congress Work Execution Committee, is also underway at party office in Sanepa. The meeting will finalize the name to be sent to the government. Likewise, the Janta Samajwadi Party will also be making its nomination today. Prior to the agreement on power sharing, the ruling parties also reached an agreement over the government's common minimum program. Away from the political front, we take a look into further developments where an understanding has been reached to fully resume bilateral trade and people's movement through the Raswagari-Kerung border from coming April 1. The understanding was reached in the first meeting of Nepal-China Coordination Mechanism on Border Trade and Cooperation held in Lhasa of Tibet, the autonomous region of China, on Wednesday. According to the Consulate General of Nepal in China, Secretary at the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, Madhukumar Marasini, and Executive Vice Chair of Tibet Autonomous Region Government, Chen Yongchi, had led the delegations from Nepal and China. Discussion was held on seeking new ways on cross-border trade, resuming people's movement, trade facilitation, customs cooperation, development of trade-related infrastructures, border trade and cooperation. Stressing on the need of resuming Kathmandu-Lhasa direct flight, Secretary Marasini urged the Chinese side to resume the direct flight soon. And let's take a look into a short break here. More news follows up next. Stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. Towards other developments, where the secondary education examination SEE 2079 starting from tomorrow. So far, 516,577 students across the country are appearing for this year examination. The SEE exam will be conducted from March 31 to April 12 across a total of 2,037 registered examination centers across the country. Examination will start from 8 a.m. This year, exam is going to be the last on the base of old syllabus. Therefore, by the next year, the examination will be held under the new syllabus. Exam controller Vishnu Narayan Shrestha informed that all necessary preparations for the examinations have been completed and question papers have been dispatched to all the examination centers. The government was all set to run the National Vitamin A campaign for children from the second week of April. Director at Family Welfare Division under the Department of Health Service, Dr. Bibek Kumar Lal, informed that vitamin A and deworming tablets would be administered to the children across the country on April 19 to 20. According to him, vitamin A capsules would be administered to the children from 6 to 59 months and deworming tablets to the children from 1 to 5 years. The division has issued a circular to the province and local level to lend support to make the campaign a success. Ram Navami, one of the auspicious festivals of Hindus, is being observed across the country with reverence, devotion, and by offering worship to Lord Ram. Ram Navami is one of the most important Hindu festivals celebrated worldwide. It marks the birth of Lord Ram, the seventh incarnation of Lord Vishnu, on Navami Tithi of the Shukla Paksha in Chait month. Lord Ram took birth on this auspicious day on the holy land of Ayodhya in the Treta Yuga. On this very day, devotees fast and recite the Ram Gita along with taking holy bath in various rivers, lakes and ponds across the country. On the occasion, devotees throng various temples and shrines of Lord Ram across the country. And let's take a look into yet another break. Stay with us for more updates. Welcome back to NTV News Towards other developments. A ferry carrying about 250 passengers and crew caught fire between Philippine Islands and at least 12 people were killed, with 7 still missing. A provincial governor said many of those rescued had jumped off the ferry in panic at the height of the fire and were plucked from the sea by the Coast Guard, Navy, another ferry and local fishermen. The governor said most of those on board were rescued overnight, but authorities were double-checking the numbers from different rescue teams, suggesting the figures could change. The ferry was en route to Jolo town in Sulu province from the southern port city of Zamboanga, where it caught fire midway of the Basilian close to midnight. Taking it to Mexico now, where the Mexican prosecutors say they have identified 8 suspects thought responsible for 38 deaths in a fire at a migrant detention center. Monday's blaze is now being investigated as a possible homicide. 5 of the suspects are reported to be security guards at the facility in Ciudad Juarez, a city on the U.S. border. Authorities are facing mounting pressure to explain why the victims, who came from Central and Southern America, were not freed. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said those responsible will be punished in conformity with the law. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is on his way back to Brazil after spending months in the U.S. The far-right politician is returning for the first time since supporters stormed the Supreme Court and Congress and the presidential palace of Brazil in January. The riots came after weeks of protests claiming fraud in his defeat to President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The former president faces numerous legal challenges on his return, including an investigation into whether he incited rioters who stormed key government buildings a week after Lula's inauguration. He left the country in December before his successor was sworn in, traveling to Florida and applying for a 6-month U.S. tourist visa. A quick look into the highlights of what's coming up next. Rapidly melting Antarctic ice is causing a dramatic slowdown in deep ocean currents and could have a disastrous effect on the climate. A new report warns the deep water flows which drive ocean currents could decline by 40% by 2050, a team of Australian scientists says. The currents carry vital heat, oxygen, carbon and nutrients around the globe. Previous research suggests a slowdown in the North Atlantic current could cause Europe to become colder. The study, published in the journal Nature, also warns the slowdown could reduce oceans' ability to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The report outlines how the Earth's network of deep ocean currents are part driven by the downwards movement of cold, dense salt water towards the seabed near Antarctica. Time for sports update. The final fixture of the Virat Gold Cup is slated for today. Home team Biratnagar City and the Indian club Lucas Soccer will lock horns in the title match at Shahid Stadium in Biratnagar. The match will kick off at 7 in the evening. Biratnagar City has reached to the final of the Virat Gold Cup after 17 years. The winner of the tournament will receive 2 million rupees and the runner-up will receive 1 million rupees. A host of international athletes have criticized International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach's claim that Russians and Belarusians competing as neutrals in their sport works. The IOC has recommended Russian and Belarusian athletes are allowed to compete under a neutral flag. Ukrainian tennis player Marta Kostyuk criticized Bach for using her win over Russian Varvara Gracheva as an example. Compatriot Lesia Turenko said, "Facing Russian is an ethical conflict. The IOC's recommendation only extends to individual athletes, not teams, and it is yet to make a decision on whether Russians and Belarusians can compete at the Paris 2024 Olympics." And this brings us to the end of the bulletin. To wrap up, a quick reminder of the top stories. Coalition partners agree on allocation of ministerial portfolios. Cabinet expansion likely by today. Nepal and China agree on resuming bilateral trade from Raswa-Gari-Kirin border. China positive on resuming Kathmandu-Lhasa direct flight. At least 12 people killed in a ferry carrying 250 passengers en route to Philippine Island. 7 other reported missing. And Biratnagar City FC and India's Luka Soccer Club in a tighter clash for Virat Kohli Cup tonight. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead. Namaste.